everybody. Hi, everybody. This is Cassandra S. Dunn, bringing you a message on April 25th, 2023. I just wanted to share a latest update, a message with humanity that I received last night as I was doing my deep spiritual work, which I do 2 or 3 times a month, where I focus on connecting with spirit. And last night's message came in. I was connecting with my star family, the lion beings, and Mother Goddess Sekhmet. And I was showing our star family that there is enough of humanity worthy of them to assist us even more in our healing and ascension that's coming up. Because it's a very dark world. There's a lot of souls here that have not reconnected with their divine energy and connected themselves to source. And there's a lot of people out there that still believe that when your physical body dies, that's it, you're dead. And that's crazy. Because I've had a near-death experience myself. I've had many out-of-body experiences. I've astral traveled quite a bit. So as your energy leaves the body, it's just a blink of an eye. It's just like a blink of an eye. So the message I got last night was a pretty urgent one that requires a little bit of emotion as far as sharing with humanity that we need to take our power back. Our star family is not going to do it all for us. They are not going to rescue us. We are not victims. We have created this disaster. We have allowed this disaster by not stepping up and saying, no, thank you, or stop it. So the hashtag stop it came in real strong. If someone's doing something against your free will that you don't like, say stop it. No. A lot of people humanity, real humans, we have a heart. We don't want to hurt anybody. We don't want to go against the grain and hurt someone's feelings, or the peer pressure so strong is to go along to get along. Now, you don't have to be ridiculously mean about it. I mean, yes, have a good heart and connect with it, and try to be empathetic with people and listen to them. But at some point, you need to say, stop it. Don't let people abuse you, take advantage of you or your babies. Enough is enough, right? I could see giving a little bit, sure, okay. And then at some point, enough is enough. So we need to start stepping into our power and say no, right? So a friend of mine came for some healing. He had been having mini strokes every day, 1 to 2 a day. And so he came to me for healing. And last night, while I was deep into my spiritual work, I connected with that thing that was attacking him. And because it has a consciousness. So everybody has to know everything is energy. Everything is consciousness. Everything is energy. So when I do my spiritual work, my holistic healing, let me back up just a little bit. So this guy had gone to the hospital a couple weeks ago. They did CT of the brain, they did an MRI, they did labs, they did an EKG, they did blood work, they found nothing. They couldn't find anything, so they discharged him. But in the meantime, he's having 1 or 2 mini strokes a day where he can't walk, talk, or move his right arm. And it lasts anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes. Scary, right? So as I was doing my intensive spiritual work last night, my holistic healing, I connected with that thing, that consciousness that was attacking him. And I said, hey, you. And it stopped and it looked at me. This snake-looking thing, this thing looked at me and says, "What do you want?" I says, "What are you doing?" "Well, we're attacking him. We're having fun with it." I said, "Why is that?" They says, "Well, he let us in. He gave us consent." I says, "Oh, really? Show me where he gave you consent." And so I waited a couple seconds, and they're, well, he didn't say no. And I looked at it and I said, "Stop it. That's enough." So since then, I have told the guy that came to me for healing, I says, although I told it to stop, I said, you also need to tell it to stop. So when this thing starts attacking you again, hit it with a "stop it. That's enough." But see, this is the energy that was coming in last night. It needs to be hard and fast. Stop it. So when you start feeling like you're getting attacked from something, you tell it to stop. You do not consent. But your lack of telling it to stop is also their consent. This is how the dark works. If you do not directly tell it to stop, it will not stop. Just like the dark, they'll show you stuff that they're doing in movies and stuff, or advertisements or movies. They're showing you what their plan is for humanity. And unless we say no, they're taking that as informed consent, as yes. Our star family is waiting for humanity to stand up at least for itself and say, "Stop. No, I do not consent. Stop it." And yeah, it takes a little bit of nerve to do that. But God gave us a mouth for a reason. Use it. Again, you don't have to be mean about it. I mean, it depends on the level of needing to say "stop it" or "stop" or "no thank you." Sometimes just a "no thank you" is good enough, right? I've seen so many young parents take their babies into the pediatrician's office and they get bullied because doctors are masters in bullying and putting you in a state of fear. So you got these young mothers allowing the doctor to do all these things filled with poison, walking out of there with an autistic kid, brain damaged forever, because humanity doesn't have enough nerve or confidence to say, "No, thank you, no." I had to go to the hospital a couple weeks ago, and I've been called into hospitals. I've been into many hospitals to help and rescue many patients over the years. So I know what I'm talking about. Doctors are, I don't know if they're trained in this, Fear 101, how to instill fear in your patients. Do what I say or you're going to die. Again, I was put into a position a couple weeks ago. This team of doctors that were teaming up on the patient, putting him in a state of fear. And finally I says, how many times do we have to say no? And of course they don't like that. But after many times saying, "No, thank you, we don't want that treatment. No, no, thank you. No, we're not going to do, no." And then finally I had to step up and say, "No. How many times do we have to tell you no?" But see, this is where we're at. Humanity is going to be eaten up and crapped out because we don't have the strength to stand up and say no. No, thank you. Or #stop it. I could see being nice once. No, thank you. And then if they hit you again, you say, "How many times I got to tell you no?" And walk away. Whatever the situation is, if it's wrong, if it's attacking you, if it's a health issue, if it's anything that violates your free will, and violates who and what you are, which is a divine being of light that has been turned into a slave and has been brainwashed for many, many hundreds of years, thousands of years maybe, that you're just to shut up and do what you're told. Well, you see where we're at today. The world's a mess. And believe me, from what I've seen in my work and in my spiritual journey and the things that I do, it's uglier than anybody could ever even imagine. God has sent me on a special mission to confront some of the darkest energies on the planet. And do you think God is going to assign someone up for that job that's going to be too afraid to stand up for what is right and to confront these beings and these demons? I have come face to face with some big demons. And I stand in my light and I say, stop it. God sends me to places that would blow people's minds, very dark places, for me to bring in the light. It's almost like I'm God's last chance, because God always gives you another chance. But at some point, God also has to say, enough is enough. I have been sent to some very high-level people on the planet in the astral realm and have approached them. Approached them by bringing in the light and giving them an opportunity to see the light and make a decision whether or not they're going to go to the light or stay in the dark. Sorry, I forgot to shut my phone off. Some of them choose to stay in the dark, and then they can suffer their consequences. But I will tell you, God is here. It's the same God as it was then, back then, now, and forever. So when I do my spiritual work in the higher realms, there's no such thing as time. I know that's a really hard concept to to take in. Because when I do my work there and when I come back, I'm like, I don't know what time, when this event is going to happen or did happen or is going to happen. So that's why I never like to give a timeline on stuff, because it's a frequency that's coming in, and the frequencies always change. So I don't like to give time, a time date stamp on anything. Great Nana Ray. So again, back to my mission. These last few months, ever since my statue of Mother Goddess Sekhmet became activated, my spiritual mission and guidance has been leaps and bounds. Although I have been on a spiritual journey for the last over 10 years. And one of these days, I'll do a quick video on how I got to be where I'm at today. It's been crazy, trust me. Woo. But at the same time, again, I am on a special mission. One time I went down to South America and I went to a wonderful shaman who has been doing ayahuasca ceremonies for decades, about 5 decades. He knows how to make it. He knows what kind of ingredients to put in it. He uses the feminine and the masculine energy to do certain things in the processing of it. So it's not a drug. It's a gift from the planet. It's a gift to connect. It's a gift for spiritual growth. And on one of those journeys, I took a pad of paper with me and I wrote down, and I drew a picture of myself. I said, here's a picture of me, from me to you. And it's just a big ball of light, because that's what we are. We're big balls of light energy. And I put on there, I said, you knew this mission would not be easy. Because it's not easy. It's not easy to go against the grain. It's not easy to be different. Right? You get picked on, especially kids in school. They're brutal. God, if you're 10 pounds overweight, your breasts are bigger than others, you're picked on, your brown skin's a little darker than the lighter skin brown boy. I mean, it's brutal to be different in this reality. That's by design. It's control. They control humanity with a tight fist. And they make fun of anybody that's different, right? If I tell people, oh, I'm an ET contactee, oh, you're one of those nutcases, huh? You believe in UFOs? Yeah, yes, I have pictures of them. They are here. And the media did all that. The media is creating the lies and the belittling, right? Because they're not reporting on it. Of course not. But I'm made fun of, right? But it's my truth. I have pictures to show it up. I have experiences with it. Many, actually. So, back to my mission. So, God has tasked me with special energy to be able to shine the light in very dark places. I have worked physically in very dark places, and I still do to this day. I promised my union and my employer that I would never reveal where I work because I would not want the safety and security at risk. But I will tell you, I work in a very dark place. And my job is to bring light, unconditional love, genuine and real into it, to neutralize dark energies. Takes a lot of balls with what I do, right? And I'm not saying I'm all that in a bag of chips. You can do that too. Sometimes you don't even have to say anything. You just have to be there. Just stand there and emit. Emit unconditional love and light. And when you find and you look at people and things and situations, you see the love of God in everything, right? Because it's all part of the journey, right? It's all a test. God has tested me. God has tested me for this job. Don't get me wrong. Hard tests. And I passed them. Why? Because I was dedicated and focused. That's why. I was so dedicated and focused, I lived in my minivan for a few years, traveling, doing spiritual work, volunteering at East Ranch in Washington State. Volunteering for David Adair, rocket scientist. Going down to South America, volunteering at the Healing Center, the Spiritual Healing Center. Some of it know it as the John of God Healing Center, but I call it the Casa de Dominacio, which is the House of St. Ignatius. A lot of good was done there. The media took it down. Yeah, Google it. All kinds of horrific things that Medium Joao did, or John of God. We didn't call him John of God. We called him Medium Joao. Google it and see all the horrific stuff the media portrayed. I'm not saying the man was perfect. He never said he was perfect. He never admitted to doing the healing. He said God did the healing. But what was going on down there was what very few saw on the news. I lived there. I volunteered there. I've been there 17 times. Sometimes up to 6 months because that's the longest you could stay. There are thousands of entities, beings of light, coming in to help with the healing of humanity. Every person that came there for healing, which is people from all over the world, thousands a day. You're talking millions of people over 42 years. Each person that came to that healing center had a team of beings of light surrounding them, working on them, specialists. If they had cancer, there was a cancer specialist. If there was an AIDS patient, it was an AIDS specialist with nurses and other team members. There were people that actually had liver transplants in their hotel rooms. Miracles, healings. I was part of that for almost 10, 12 years. I myself was healed. But it was a lot on my part also. They just didn't heal me overnight. I was offered hospice in 2012. I was bedridden for a year, getting bed sores. The police were doing welfare checks. And then till finally, my year of bed rest connected me to my laptop, and I kept digging. What is the purpose of this? Digging, watching Dr. Wayne Dyer, watching Super Soul Sunday. Yeah, I know, a lot of you people don't like Oprah, okay? I get that. But she interviewed over 37,000 people in her lifetime. Do you mean to tell me all 37,000 people are dark and evil? No, that's ridiculous. So yes, Oprah did assist me in my healing. Is she of the light? I don't know. I don't care. You take from it what you feel resonates and you get rid of the rest because there's so much bullshit in this world, right? So yes, Oprah helped save my life with her Super Soul Sunday and Dr. Wayne Dyer. He shared his healing experience at the about a long distance healing at the John of God Healing Center and how he was healed of cancer. That's what sparked my intrigue. I sold everything I had. Sick in an electric wheelchair, bedbound, I called my daughter. I said, I'm going to Brazil. And she laughed, said, Mom, are you crazy? I said, no, I'm going. And she said, what if you die there? I said, then I die there. I said, but I'm going. And before I even got my plane ticket, the entities of light knew, they heard my call. They knew my intent. And they came to visit me in Michigan. They came in a group. They started touching me. I could feel them. It was in the middle of the night. I was a little nervous. I started to pray. As they were moving my organs around, they scanned me. I could feel this energetic bar go from top to bottom to my toes and back up. And I was talking to them. I said, thank you for coming. Thank you for hearing my prayer. I asked them, I said, there's one thing. I said, I've been laying in this bed for a year by myself. I am so lonely. Could you please give me a hug before you go? And you know what God and his angels do? They give you more than you ask for. Somebody kissed me. I felt it. They kissed me. And then they left. I was so touched with that whole event. That is what blew my mind. There's a little bit more to it. I can get into detail later, but that's kind of where it all started. God, your star family, your guides, your angels, they hear you. They are there for you. They're waiting for you to wake up and say, hey, can you guys give me some guidance? Hey, can you guys help me out? What do I do with this situation? You know, I'm really sick. Can you help me? Help is available. Yes. But they're not going to intervene until you ask. We live in a reality of free will. Those are some of the laws that were placed in this reality for the journey, for the purpose. for the learning experience. It's up to us individually to reconnect with who we are and back to source. That's the ultimate goal, is eventually going back to source. Source is prime creator, all that is, a big ball of huge burning white ball of love consciousness. There's no judgment there. You know, I'm not perfect. I've screwed up a lot in my life. I've learned a lot from it also, right? So, back to hashtag stop it. At the same time, they didn't just cure me overnight. They guided me that I needed more intensive care physically to go down to the healing center in Brazil. I sold everything I had and went. What did I have to lose? I was offered hospice, right? I was already on morphine, methadone, MS-Contin, and a bucket of other meds, right? What did I have to lose? Nothing. I took a risk of faith. I said, I'm going. And I did. And as soon as I got down there, I was hit. Boom, pow, walking into that healing center. They had to catch me from hitting the floor. I was filled with light and love and energy in every cell. I couldn't even breathe. I was so full. They tried to put some blessed water in my mouth and it spit out all over because nothing more could fit into this cell, in this cellular structure. And from that point on, the experiences I've had have been mind-blowing, cracked my consciousness. But at the same time, again, back to, they didn't cure me in one night. It took 3 years of hard work, focus, and dedication to my healing. And today, I am strong, I feel great, and have no pain. And I am nobody different than everybody else listening. Sometimes you got to let the shit go. You know what I'm saying? For the first year or so after that, I was down in Brazil at the healing center, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and I said, you know, the healing's just not coming as fast as I'd like. And he says, you need to surrender it. And you know, I went on an investigative weeks and months. What does it mean to surrender? I dug into that word, that meaning, that much. To surrender to God. And give it over and release it. So some of you know that I'm a certified federal medical investigator. So I did that for a few years. My office was in the capital at Lansing, Michigan. I loved that job. I learned a lot. I was an individual investigator. They would put the manila envelope on my desk of a certain situation going on at a medical center, and I was to go figure it out, right? I became a specialist in whatever that investigation was about. If it was about a renal patient, I became a renal specialist. Not one of my cases and outcomes has ever been overturned in a court. So I investigate things thoroughly. I get down to the truth. I dig and dig and dig and dig and dig because I want to know the truth. Because my truth at that time stood up in court, either for a family member or for a facility or for whoever, a corporation. It was truth, right? I wanted to be fair. And that's how I am today. I dig at stuff. I want to know more, right? I want to know the truth. And that's what I share. And when this physical body does die and I go forward into the spiritual realms and have my life review, I want my peers and source to say, Dunn, you did a good job. A lot of this stuff you did wasn't comfortable. Being in front of this camera is not comfortable. I don't like it. But it's my duty. It's my duty to my mission. It's my duty to my star family to share the message with you guys, those that resonate with this video. It's not for everybody. I get you. Sure. Call me crazy. Shut it off. Move on. I don't need to be belittled. You don't have to put kind of nasty comments in there. I'm not going to argue with you. Okay? Don't do that. I'm not going to put any energy or time into negativity. If you don't believe anything I say, that's fine. Great. I know it's all out there. I agree. But the experiences I've had are real, and they continue to this day. The message last night from my star family is I showed them that there is humanity that's worthy. Don't give up on us. We are worthy. At the same time, we need to stand up. Stand up. Hashtag stop it. Tell the darkness to stop. You can even do a meditation against all the dark stuff and say, stop it. I do not consent. I do not agree to this. Again, us as human beings, we have empathy, we have tenderness, we have love, we don't want to hurt anybody. Right. The dark doesn't have that, okay? So you need to hit them back with what catches their attention. No, stop it. No, thank you. No, right? I kind of do this at my work sometimes and have to say, stop, enough, bye-bye. Because they're not going to suck off my energy and engage me. See, a lot of this stuff is a test. Everything's a test in life. It's a test, right? And I showed God and my star family that I am worthy of this mission. I've accepted it. I've told them face to face at times, I will do this because this is what I was born to do. I have a special energy from Source Prime Creator. That's another reason why I had to go to Brazil, because they had the technology to heal this type of energy. U of M, Cleveland, and Mayo Clinic, they couldn't heal this. They heal very little, trust me, to begin with. They create the illnesses and then they treat it forever, making money. But at the same time, they couldn't fix it. So I needed higher level technology to fix this energy, and they had it. And they used quite intriguing technology to heal me at times. All energy. One time I was popped out of body and they showed me, and I was behind myself, where they pulled out a section of my back, fixed it, and then slid it right back in. And then I woke up and I went, oh my gosh, thank you. Oh my God, because that was one of the last lingering pains I had. My illness included all my tendons and ligaments were ripping and tearing from my eyelids down to my feet. Very painful. And so, yeah, at the third year, my last bit of pain was behind my shoulder blades, and so I'd sit at work with a heating pad for a couple years. But then my last visit down there, I was in bed, and they came and they visited me, and they took me out of body, like I said. And they showed me, they pulled out this square part of energy, they fixed it and put it back in, and then I popped back in my body, and I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you guys. No more pain, none, all gone. So, again, I just want to refocus on the message of tonight. I know I've rambled on a little bit in all kinds of different directions, but I've got lots to say, you guys. I've had lots of experiences, and I want to share them because I want to give y'all hope, right? Hope? Hope is what keeps people going. This is a tough life, especially now, and it's going to get tougher. There's like, 7-8 billion of us, and only maybe a couple thousand of them. They are afraid of us waking up. They are afraid of us knowing the truth. They're already scrambling because they know God's army is popping up all over the place. Things are getting so crazy. The ridiculousness of it. Look at this Dylan creature that they're putting out as a Maybelline spokesperson, Bud Light. That's how ridiculous they've gotten. Come on, are you serious? I'm a woman. To me, that's insulting and perverted. It's childlike, right? This Dylan creature? Come on. But this is how ridiculous they're getting. You have to say no. Hashtag boycott Maybelline. Hashtag boycott Bud Light. It's up to us to say no. I do not accept this. No. Step into your power. Hashtag stop it. Stop. And that's what I told this consciousness that's attacking a friend of mine with the mini strokes. I was teaching him how to say stop it. He's such a nice guy. At first he's saying, okay. I'm like, no. Say, stop it. Stop it. Hit it back with the same energy. All right. I usually bring a little thing of water with me, but today I didn't. Maybe it's my throat's telling me now it's time to stop it. I'll tell you another quick story real quick. I have a little dog. Her name is Sophie. She looks like a little lion. She's a big fat Pomeranian mix, and she looks like a little lion. I got her in 2014. I was looking for the right dog for me on my journey because I did lots of traveling and stuff like that. And so I saw her picture on Craigslist. So I contacted a friend of mine that was disabled in Las Vegas, and I said, hey, would you like to get out of the house and go with me and go check out this little dog? And he said, sure. And so I picked him up before I picked him up. So that night, he calls me and says, we're going to go see Sophie, right? I'm like, who's Sophie? He goes, that's your dog. He said, she contacted me telepathically and said that her name is Sophie and I'm her dog. And I'm like, okay. So the next day I go pick him up. We take a drive to Pahrump. Lady opens the door and she's holding this little dog. And she says, come on in. So we're sitting on the floor playing with the dog, and I says, what did you name her? And she said, Sophie. So Sophie is a little light worker. She's part of my spirit animal pack. And a couple weeks ago, actually, like 6 years ago, she had a trauma to her trach. She was choked and she died. While I was on a visit to Brazil, I left her with my daughter. It was a freak accident, but she lived. But her trachea has been damaged. But until about a couple months ago, she was pretty good, doing fine. And then the last couple months, she started this honking, like a goose. And so I investigated, and her trachea is collapsing. And so I called my friends in the higher realms. I've called the masters in. Could you please heal her? And there was no healing. So I have enough faith to know that they came and they saw her, but the healing message still wasn't received by me. And the message was to roar. Mom, this is the time to roar. Let it out. Let your inner lion out and roar. Ever since I connected with that message, she immediately stopped. So nothing is as it seems. Nothing. Nothing is as it seems. Everything is energy. Everything is intention. Everything is out of unconditional love. And if you're suffering in one way or another, you've created it. You've allowed it into your reality. You are not a victim. And that's what our star family needed to hear from me. Taking personal responsibility, doing my part. It has not always been easy, but the outcomes and experiences have been wow. I've been asked many times to write a book about some of them, and I haven't done so yet. One time I was traveling in my van in the middle of the night, and I says, if you guys want me to write a book, give me a sign. About 10 minutes later, I had a publisher call me and say, hey, are you interested in writing a book? Anyway, all right, I think that's enough for tonight. Again, just a reminder. My message today, just walk away with my intention of the message tonight is step into your power. If something doesn't feel right, seem right, you don't want to do it, don't do it out of fear or lack. Stand in your power. Because when you do that, you will get the backing from God and everybody else. They will back you. Stand up. Stand up and say, no, this doesn't sound right to me and I'm not doing it. Or say to the pediatrician, no, we're not doing this today or ever. No. And I tell you what, that pediatrician's got the fear porn down. You need to pick up your baby and walk right out. I have walked out of many doctor's appointments and said, you know what, we're done. Bye-bye. Takes a lot of nerve to do that. But I did it. You can do it too. Just say, no, thank you, we're done. Don't go back. Or at your employer. If they want you to do something you don't want to do, say, no, this is not for me. You're violating my free will and don't pressure me. No, that's against the law. I'm not doing it. No, thank you. No. Call your congressman. Call your senators. Call your local board of commissioners. Why are you guys putting fluoride in our water? We all know now that it's a carcinogen and that it's a poison per the safety data sheet, right? Why are you continuing to put this in our water when now you know better, right? Imagine if we all did something, do something to shed light on the lies. You don't have to be violent. I'm not saying be violent. In fact, I don't advocate violence. I advocate for you to stand in your power with dignity and some level of politeness, right? And say, no, why are you still doing this? Here's the safety data sheet. It says right here, it's pure poison. So why are you adding this to our water? No, I do not consent. So I'll let you guys go. Let's see if there's any comments, any questions. All right. So this video will be posted. Let me know on what future videos you would like me to do. Let's see. So I'm going to start doing these more often. I need to become more comfortable speaking in front of a camera and sharing my experiences, because I think there's a lot more to come, and there's hundreds and hundreds I have already of experiences that I can share. Intention is a big thing. Intent. So you have to put clear intent out to the universe for it to bring you what you're asking for or your desired outcome wants to be. If you don't know what you're doing or what you want, it's going to bring you mishmash for you to figure out, right? So, for example, when I was volunteering at ESETI Ranch, which is in Washington State, it's owned by James Gilliland. He's pretty famous in the UFO spiritual realm, there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings out there in Washington State. And so I had this inner knowing, this inner desire to connect with Bigfoot. I just envisioned hugging one and feeling the fur and the energy and just saying hi, right? And connecting with another type of person, being. And so for weeks I put that out there. So it does take a little time to manifest in this reality, but the more you focus on your intent, the sooner it will come. So within a couple weeks, I was walking back to my campsite. It was pitch black out, and something said to my left ear, take a picture to your left. And I'm like, okay. So I took a picture in the dark, didn't see nothing. I go back to my campsite and I go through my pictures, and oh my gosh, there's a picture of Bigfoot in his beautiful purple energy. And I went, oh my gosh, he was right next to me. Beautiful picture of his very strong, ancient-looking face, right? So then I took it a step further. I want to hug one, right? So I wrote it on my water bottle, intention. Oh, I want to hug one. On the last day of volunteering at the ranch, because they closed for the wintertime, there was a Dolores Cannon practitioner, past life practitioner, trained by Dolores Cannon, and he said to me, hey, I'm training somebody. Could I use you as a patient to do a past life? And I said, sure. And so I had my past life regression. It took a couple hours. What was really interesting about that session is the guy doing it, he had another girl next to him that he was training how to do them. He could actually see what I was seeing in my regression. Because he would say, what are you wearing? And I'd explain it to him. But anyway, at the end of the session, he says to me, is there anything else you'd like? I said, yes, I want to connect with my star family. And they showed up. They looked like, in their silver suits, they looked like Lost in Space, the original from 40 years ago. And then next to them was Bigfoot. And I got to give him a hug. So a lot of the stuff I do is not in this 3D reality. It's in the higher dimensions. It's astral traveling. It's telepathic communication with higher beings. It's interaction with beings in the higher dimensions. Years ago, they visited me. Well, I've been visited many times, but on one visit, I was in Nevada, and I asked if I could see them. And they were just balls of big light. That's all. Just balls of light, consciousness, energy from the higher dimensions. Because at that time, I thought, you know what? The only health issue I have is my thyroid doesn't work. I was stupid and had radioactive iodine years ago when I was like 25. And so I don't have a thyroid, so I have to take replacement every day. So back then, in about 2016, 17, I said, you know what? My thyroid's good to go. I don't need this thyroid any medication anymore. So I put it in a box under the sink in the bathroom and said, I'm done. Well, about 3 or 4 weeks later, I wound up with congestive heart failure, and my whole body blew up. I was swollen. My eyes were like this, slits because they were swollen. My face was swollen. And so I prayed and I sent my information down to the healing center. I says, do I really need this stuff, I guess? They showed up that night. And Mother Mary showed up, and she told me, she says, I'm going to give you a gift. And she says, and don't worry, you're going to have chest pain for a few days, but you're going to be fine. So she threw this energy gift to my heart chakra, and I did have a little bit of chest pain for the next day or two. And so, but anyway, the next day I get up, they had put that bottle of thyroid on top of my sink. And so that was a message. Yep, you still have to take it. Now they could heal me. I don't know what the purpose is of why I still have to live with this. It's something obviously that I need to work out or deal with, right? So yes, there is a point in time where pharmaceuticals are necessary, but at a very last resort. Now, I do take a natural thyroid called Thyrovance. It's from New Zealand cows, so it's desiccated thyroid. But don't get me wrong, sometimes pharmaceuticals are needed as a very last resort. Life or death. Now, with my thousands of dollars of natural remedies that I have on my shelves over here, I've helped, I can't say the word cure because that's illegal. I have helped people with cancer, UTIs, all kinds of stuff. All naturally, right? C. diff, yeah, ain't no thing. But anyway, I'll let you guys go. Nice to see y'all. Hi, David. Thanks you, Nana. Thank you, Nana, for coming. Other people will be seeing this over as time goes by. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, just write me a comment. I will be posting a lot of stuff on my YouTube channel, which is called Purple Lion Project. I need to figure out how Rumble works because Rumble doesn't censor, because I've got a lot of stuff I can share about stuff that I get hit on and put in Facebook jail, right? And also YouTube has been starting to remove my videos even from a year or two ago. So I'm now starting to get targeted for my message. So I've got lots of stuff I need to share with humanity, and I think Rumble is going to be the best place to do it. I just need to figure it out. I'm not very techie. I mean, in high school, we had manual typewriters, you know what I'm saying? So anywho, thank you guys. I hope we can work together some more in the future. Let's hear some of your experiences. It sounds like someone has already commented that I've had similar experiences. Right. I'm not alone here. I'm not afraid to share them. Let's start sharing them, right? It's exciting because there's something more out there. There's a whole multiverse of stuff going on. The power of our energy is amazing. We've got the power inside, right? Yes. Let's use it. Let's work for God. Let's work for unconditional love. But at the same time, don't let your kindness be your weakness, right? You can be kind. At the same time, don't be taken advantage of. Say no. No, thank you. Hashtag stop it, right? And we can do this. So I'm sharing with my star family that yes, we are worthy. Humanity is worthy. I've actually shown them some people that were so dark, but yet were asking for help, right? You have to ask for help because it's available. They will help us. They will work with us. But at the same time, we have to help ourselves. That's right, Chad Klein. Hashtag stop it. I love you. All right, guys, thanks. And I'll talk to you real soon.